Thank you for tuning into the Buyer's Guide podcast, where we continue to talk all things property and finance. My name is Peter Mastriani. I'm the founder of the Buyer's Guide, and in today's cast I have the opportunity to sit down and have a chat with Dino Pacella, who's the founder of National Finance Brokers Day. Now, this group was established a little over a year ago. It's quickly gained a really large following as it supports industry professionals that are now responsible for writing over 54% of home loans in the Australian marketplace. Now, Dino is a particularly passionate consumer advocate and is that way to ensure that, great knowledge, insights and updates are provided to consumers to ensure that they really just take advantage of using a finance broker for their own individual lending requirements. Dina's got some great things to say, so listen in and let's get to it. Dino, hi. Thank you very much for joining us on the Buyer's Guide podcast. It's great to have you on the show. Why don't you start off by sharing a little bit about yourself and what it is that you're up to?
Yeah, thanks for having me, Peter. It's great to be on the show.
No problem.
So, Peter, my regular day job is I'm a business development manager for Suncorp Bank. But on the side, I'm a huge advocate of finance brokers. Hence, I founded National Finance Brokers Day just over a year ago now. Okay. And the inaugural day is coming up on the 17th of August this year, so just next Wednesday. Mm-hmm. And it's purely just to help and grow the education around the advantages that consumers can receive by dealing with a finance broker. Mm-hmm. And as I said, I'm a huge fan of what these people do, and they're helping the Australian consumer get into their own home or build wealth through investment properties. Mm-hmm. And it's really about them, I suppose, making dreams become a reality.
Great. I'm self-employed. I run my own business, the Buyer's Guide, and one of the ways in which I monetize the business is actually through mortgage broking. And I was keen to have you on the show on the basis that you are championing the cause of raising the profile of what brokers do. What made you get behind it? What made you set up this cause, so to say?
Yeah, Peter, I originally came into this third-party space about 3 years ago, and I was a bit blown away by what brokers do and the amount of work that actually gets in from a loan application, from seeing the client from a first interview all the way through to settlement, and what they continue doing post-settlement for clients. And I worked in the direct channel through a major bank and now a non-major lender for about 12 years through the direct channel. And coming into the third-party space, and I know a majority of finance brokers are self-employed and they're earning their own income, but the work that these guys and girls do to get people into their own property, the way that they actually see them, the follow-up work, and I just really wanted to have a day and have the lead-up throughout the year for that day to help educate the consumer market to say, listen, there's probably 4 to 5 main reasons why people are using a finance broker. Majority don't charge a fee for service. They're saving time. They're saving the consumer alternatively some money, whether they're doing a new loan or getting the most competitive deal through a refinance. And there's probably another 3 or 4 reasons why people seek out a finance broker. But I felt that when I came into the industry, and still to this day, people are going, well, I didn't want to go see my finance broker because I didn't want to pay for a fee, so I just went direct to the bank.
Sure.
There's still that perception out there that it was like it was 10, 15 years ago. I felt like the industry needed some further consumer education, and we needed a lead up and have a day to celebrate the industry as a whole.
Good. Since you've come into, I guess, this channel and working with brokers directly, how have you actually seen the market change over the last couple of years?
I would say, but the major change has probably been around the policy and investment changes, which came through about a year ago now. I think it was August 15. So, yeah, the APRA regulations and those changes on the investment space. And even though I wasn't in the industry going back 7, 8 years ago, people have been telling me stories that it's sort of taken a whole full circle, and we've gone back to the olden days around having different rates for owner-occupied properties and investment deals. Mm. So I've seen that technology is becoming a big play in the market now, and probably more so in the last 6 months. We're seeing more online deals, or do-it-yourself deals, if you wanted to call it that way. They're probably the two major changes that I've seen. Mm-hmm. No doubt this industry changes regularly, and it's good for the industry that it does. We're looking after the people that are working in the industry, and more so looking after the consumers that are dealing with these brokers.
Mm. So you would probably be able to give me some better numbers around this, but I know for a fact that the broker market is more than 50% in terms of the lending share, in terms of where volume is actually driven through. And I participate in some of these online forums that have emerged for brokers in the past 6 months, the likes of Hashching and Lone Dolphin, and there's another one out of South Australia called Joust. And I'm sure there's probably another dozen or so that are in the pipeline in the foreseeable future. Do you think they're actually benefiting consumers, or is it more of a point of actually increasing engagement directly to brokers?
I think there's definitely a marketplace for these guys.
Yeah.
And I've read a couple of online articles like yourself, Peter, that's saying that their market share they wanted to get over the next 5 years is up to 10%. Now that's a big call given the broker industry is, depending which articles you read, around 53.7.
Yeah.
Loans are coming through finance brokers. So it is a large chunk of that market share to go towards these online guys, around that 10% area that they're aiming for. But listen, for those experienced consumers that, have purchased an owner-occupied property in the past, or have built their wealth through numerous investment portfolios, and they go, listen, I've been through this numerous times. I know what's required. I know the supporting documents that lenders are looking for, and I know the rates that are out there in the current market and what is competitive to myself and my own individual requirements. So I can go on there and I can seek out my own deal, and I know that I'm getting the best possible package to suit my individual requirements, and they can do them by themselves. But I don't think it's going to have any detriment to finance brokers, because given people want to deal with it's a relationship business, broking, and people want to deal with an expert, and people want to deal with a face-to-face, and majority of people aren't buying their fifth or sixth investment property. They want to get into the market, and it has been more difficult to do that in the last 12, 18 months, particularly on the East Coast. So people want to sit down with an expert, go through the requirements, go through what they're required to provide, how much they can borrow, where they can buy. And it really becomes a one-on-one interaction from beginning to end, and then future for these clients. And it's a serious transaction, and people don't want to do a lot of serious buying by themselves these days. So they want an expert. I mean, you'll do a research buying a car. Let's say, Peter, for example, which could be the second most important purchase of your life, or second biggest purchase. Mm-hmm. But again, you'll do research on there. You'll speak to family and friends. You potentially could even go shopping around at the car yard to get some further advice. Mm-hmm. So you basically wouldn't go buying it without going to touch and feel and smell it and take it for a test drive and see what it's all about and get some further advice. So I think there is a marketplace for them, and it will be great for the industry. Any competition is good. But I think finance brokers having that one-on-one relationship, which is as I said, from start to finish and to anything running in the future, I think that's still going to be the way forward for consumers.
Look, I most certainly agree. I think the emergence of new fintechs that are coming into the space should certainly be encouraged, and I think it's only going to be beneficial for consumers. Most consumers in conversations that I have, particularly at the moment when refinancing is particularly in vogue, it's two questions. Who's the cheapest lender, and what rate are you going to get me? Which is absolutely fine, but I think it's a huge misconception that the cheapest rate doesn't necessarily equate to the best value for money, nor does it actually mean that consumers are actually going to qualify based on the specific lending policy that might be applied to that specific product as well. So I think there's a miscommunication that's coming out from some of these fintech platforms that have been established. But I guess then it's that engagement piece coming back to the brokers to help facilitate that engagement and perhaps educate the consumer through that process as well. But I think it'll be interesting to see what happens in that space in the foreseeable future. You've got your finger on your pulse yourself in talking with consumers and brokers on a daily basis. What are the crystal ball predictions, I guess, from your behalf? Where do you see that the market actually moving towards over the next couple of years?
Yeah. Again, I probably touched on it earlier, Peter. That technology piece is going to have a large play on it. People are getting a lot more savvy when it comes to looking for a property and looking for deals to suit their requirements and what they actually want to do. So the research that they can do, the technology available for them to do that and get in touch with a finance broker is going to be a big one. I think finance brokers are moving into now more of a one-stop shop deal that clients can actually go and sit in front of them. They can get referrals in regards to real estate agents or have in-house real estate agents, as we see with a Loan Market and Ray White partnership. We'll see further growth in that finance broker space where they'll be able to do asset finance, motor vehicle finance. They might have financial planners in the office as well. So I think the growth of the sole finance broker that is purely doing residential lending or commercial lending, I think those will go, and people will want to be able to sit down with an expert and go, you know what, listen, I've got a residential property that I want to look at purchasing. I potentially have a business as well that I need to finance. And listen, my son or daughter has a motor vehicle that we want to look at purchasing as well. So I think having those one-stop shops or those companies that can actually help with all the finance requirements and really tailor the packages to suit what those people are looking for. And like you said earlier, Peter, it's not about the cheapest rate that's on the market at the time, because as we know, rates fluctuate, lenders bring out different offers, fees get waived, whatever the case may be. But it's the broker's service proposition, or the golden part about what a broker can bring to the consumer is sitting in front of them, going through their financial situation and what the actual consumer wants to achieve within the next 12 to 24 months, and sitting down, asking them the questions and tailoring that package to go, listen, we can do this now. This is the most competitive deal. This is which lender's going to be able to assist you achieve that. And you said in 24 months, you want to say, for example, purchase an investment property. I know this lender is going to be able to assist us, and these are the steps that we need to do moving forward to get you into that investment property in 24 months. So that is where the real value and the real service proposition from a finance broker goes. So, mate, it's probably a wide crystal ball that I'm predicting, and it's probably
I certainly agree, and I agree on the basis that I look at my own business on a very regular basis in terms of what can be done and how that can be improved, and looking at where the market is going, I see more of a need to adapt the business to a professional services style of offering, where it is mortgage broking, but we're also offering property investment advice. We also are catering and linking in with other professional services under one house, whether that be conveyancing or whether that be a direct link into an accountant, or from a commercial finance perspective. So I see that it's a need to adapt. Because the environment and consumer demands are changing as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And Peter, if I just had one more thing on that, I think you mentioned it. It's having a source of experts at the broker's fingertips that if they're unsure or they don't offer that product or service, that they exactly know where to go and get that for the consumer and can get back to them in a timely and transparent manner.
Yes.
And listen, 99% of the brokers in the Australian market, and I know a few of them now, they'll do what they say they're going to do. And if they say to a client that they're going to find this information for them, or being able to refer them to a property specialist or whatever it may be, that these are the people that they deal with on a day-to-day basis, and they know that they're the perfect fit for that client. So it's just gold for these brokers to be able to have that source of knowledge and source of referral partners at their fingertips.
Absolutely. absolutely. So how can people find out more about National Finance Brokers Day?
Yeah, we have set up we've got a few social media platforms running at the moment. So Facebook would probably be our most frequently visited site. Mm-hmm. So it's purely just National Finance Brokers Day on Facebook. We also have an Instagram account, and these get posted regularly. And when I say regularly, we're looking at 1 to 2 times a day.
Yep. I see them coming through my feeds. Yep.
Yeah, excellent. Hopefully you're enjoying those, Peter. We also have set up a YouTube channel. We have videos via the YouTube and the Facebook page from finance brokers, just sharing their quick thoughts on why finance brokers are so important, why consumers should seek out the services of a broker. Mm-hmm. We've also had the support of the two industry bodies, so the Finance Brokers Association of Australia and the Mortgage and Finance Association of Australia, who are big supporters of the day, and don't think the online show for next Wednesday the 17th could be possible without those two. So just a big shout out to those two associations. We've also had great support from Mark Burris, the Yellow Brick Road Executive Chairman.
Okay.
And had the pleasure of interviewing Mark back in May, and that's on the Facebook page as well and the YouTube channel.
Yep.
And lastly, Peter, we just released National Finance Brokers Day's own LinkedIn page as well. So they're the 4 social media platforms that are on, so you can follow either of those. But the online show for next Wednesday, we've just released the web link and password, so you can log in and watch that. And again, that's straight off the Facebook page. There's an event section set up with all the details and panel members that we're having and information about those panel members and guests. And that's on next Wednesday, as I mentioned, the 17th at 4:30 Eastern Standard Time.
That's great. Dino, thank you very much for coming onto the show, and look, a bigger thank you for doing what you're doing and championing the cause and working hard to raise the profile of brokers in the domestic marketplace. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. Thanks for your time.
No problems. All the best. Bye, Dino.
Bye.
That concludes another episode of the Buyer's Guide podcast. So thank you very much for tuning in. And look, be sure to subscribe via iTunes to not miss out on any future episodes, because we've got a pretty cool lineup of some special guests coming onto the show. And more excitingly, we've got some pretty cool offers that we're going to be sharing in the months to come as well. If you can't wait that long, though, look, feel free to get in touch. You can do so by getting in touch via the website www.thebuyersguide.com.au and our soon-to-be released new site, rentvesting.com.au. But look, until next time, though, bye-bye.